Hello, welcome, and good morning to my first and only high school screencast about Kurt Gödel's incompleteness theorem by yours truly. What theorem? I'm sure many of you have never heard of his theorem before. I hadn't before a week ago. Let's go to the whiteboard so I can explain. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about Gödel's incompleteness theorem, or GIT for short. Gödel's incompleteness theorem is used for different areas of study, for example, computer science, philosophy, and psychology. I'm totally butchering how to spell that. But it's essentially important even if you're not studying mathematics. And it says that every mathematical rule essentially can't be proven because you need to go on forever to prove any rule, which makes a lot of mathematicians mad because for thousands of years we've been proving the first 10, 20, 30 parts of like a rule and then saying like, oh, it goes on till infinity, but Gödel wouldn't agree necessarily. And this is relevant to philosophy because it tells us to look at parts of our natural world and conclusions that we made about our world and just keep questioning them. And another thing that Gödel thought about related to his incompleteness theorem is Gödel numbers, which uses input as equations to create a number that essentially is different from any other number and can only be gotten from this equation, essentially turning symbols into numbers. So how we turn 1 plus 1 equals 2 into a Gödel number according to a system is convert all of these numbers to, or these numbers and symbols to other numbers. So 1 equals 1, plus equals 2, equals 3, and 2 equals 4. And essentially what we're going to do with that is convert 1 plus 1 equals 2 to 1, 2, 1, 3, 4 in that order. 2, 1, 3, 4. And then we're going to raise prime numbers in order to these numbers and multiply them together to get a number that is unique from any other number that you could possibly make from any other equation. So what this looks like is 2 to the first, 3 to the second, 5 to the first, 7 to the third, and 11 to the fourth. Multiplied together gets 452,234,790, which is different from any other Gödel number, and you can't get this number from any other equation, essentially. So you're essentially turned this equation, 1 plus 1 equals 2, to a number that describes itself. So you can see Gödel's a pretty cool guy. What do we learn? GIT essentially means rules can't really be proven. In mathematics, they're incomplete because they go on forever. Rules can't prove. And related to this is Gödel numbers that he created. Because even equations that are deemed to be false have Gödel numbers, essentially it proves his incompleteness theorem, essentially saying that even equations that are deemed to be false can also go on forever. And that's it. Now that you know about his theorem, what about Gödel? He's an interesting guy. He was Austrian, born in Brno in 1906. Brno was in Austro-Hungary during 1906. Now it's in the southeastern part of Czechia. And he published his theorem in 1931 while living in Austria at 25 years old. And then in 1940, he escaped Nazi-occupied Austria, or Nazi Germany, with his wife, Adele. Here's him and his wife. They're a cute couple. There's them spinning around, dancing. And here's a world map. And with this, we're gonna track how he escaped Austria and got to the United States, where he'd live in Princeton, New Jersey for the rest of his life. He took the Trans-Soviet Railway from Germany across Russia to Japan. And then in Japan in 1940, he took a boat from Yokohama to San Francisco, crossing the whole Pacific. And then he crossed the United States to get to Princeton instead of just going across the Atlantic Ocean. Some other facts about Gödel is his wife was 6 years older than him and a former Austrian nightclub dancer. He was best friends with Einstein. They took long walks together. As far as the historical record is concerned, this is actually true. Although I can't say it was on the beach. I mean, they might have taken a walk on the beach, who's to say. And Gödel almost didn't get U.S. citizenship because he criticized the Constitution in front of the judge. Einstein was also there. which is a fun fact. There's him and Einstein together. There's him looking mad, and then how he died. Up to his death, Kurt suffered from severe paranoia and refused to eat food not prepared by his wife because he thought he was going to get poisoned. And then she was hospitalized because she's 6 years older than him, and he's like 70 years old at this point, 69, for several months, and was unable to cook for him. And because of this, Gödel stopped eating entirely and died of starvation and malnutrition. So what did we learn? He's a super smart guy. He came up with the incompleteness theorem and Gödel numbers. He escaped Nazi-occupied Austria in 1940, which is pretty cool. But he died of starvation in Princeton, New Jersey due to severe paranoia, which is less cool. Thanks for listening.